Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be testing these markers by Artistro. They are water-based acrylic paint markers, and Artistro were kind enough to send me these markers to try for free, but all of the opinions are my own and these will be my first impressions. So these come in a really nice packaging with a really nice clasp, and it has a nice handle on it as well, and on the back it gives you all the colours that are included in nice little groups, which I think is quite useful and handy. And once we open the box up, we get 30 markers inside. We also get some spare nibs, which is quite a nice little touch because sometimes nibs can go quite quickly on pens. And there's also some leaflets inside, some information on how to use the pens and their social media, etc. So looking at the pens themselves, they are quite nice. They feel quite nice in your hand when you're writing with them. They've got nice decorations on them to match the box, and the nib is quite nice as well. And the caps are coloured, and on the end of the cap there is a number. There we go, this one is green 83, and if we look at the back of the box, the number matches the back of the box like this. So I'm going to take these markers out now and we're going to see the colour range of them. So here are all the markers laid out, and they also sent me some metallic pens as well. They are a little bit finer point, they are extra fine point rather than fine tip, and you can see the paint inside of them. They are similar though, they're just a clear barrel and they are metallic. So if we just take off the lid, you can see that the tip is a finer point. So to activate these pens, there are instructions on the side of the pen and on the box. So just shake the pen and then we remove the lid, and then to activate the pen you just need to press it down, and it's better to do it as a longer press because then the ink will flow quicker than lots of shorter presses, if that makes sense. But they flow really nicely as soon as you get them activated. The ink flow is really nice and the colours are really vibrant and the formula is quite good. Some of the colours might be a little bit watery to begin with, but if you shake it really well, shake it like a Polaroid picture, then it will make the paint thicker. And I'm just drawing a little Charlie with my paint pen here because why not? So I'm gonna swatch all of these out because I'm doing a first impressions video, so I want to see what all the colours look like and it'll be a good reference. So here are all the colours swatched out. There is a really good range of colours, nice bright vibrant neons, some metallics and also some pastel colours, and these are the metallic colours at the bottom from the different set, but there are a couple of metallic colours in the main set of 30 as well. And there is a white in the metallic set rather than a metallic white, but that is quite useful. I'm not complaining because that will be useful for finer details. And also just matching the colours to the swatches, and you can see that the caps really do match what the colour is, and that's a really good feature because sometimes with markers the caps don't match the colours and that can be quite frustrating, but these pens match really well. I found that with all of them, so that's a really good. And as far as blending is concerned, you're not able to blend too much because these are water-based acrylic and that is just how they work. If you do try and blend them when the colour is wet still, then it will eat up the paper a little bit, and you'll be able to see that in a moment. So if you want to layer these pens, it is good to let them dry first. That is true for all pens of this nature. So here we go, look, if you see it has eaten up the paper a little bit, so you just have to let it dry before you do that. But they do layer on top of each other quite nicely if you let them dry. So if we just try with a yellow, like this, and then add some green on top, you'll see that it does layer properly and it doesn't eat up the paper if you layer when it's dry. So I'm really impressed so far with how these are. I like the colour range. The only thing I would say is that there isn't a dark brown, but hopefully I can still make it work. There is number 72, which is a reddish brown, so we will see how that goes. So I'm going to be customising a sketchbook. This is just a normal Winsor & Newton A5 sketchbook that I've got because I want to get into sketchbooks rather than just drawing on lots of bits of paper this year. So I'm going to be drawing on it with these pens, and I'm just using a white polychromos to sketch it out. And as you can see, I'm doing an Eevee because I thought the creamy colours and the creamy brown colours would be good for an Eevee, so I'm just sketching it out first and then going straight in with the paint pens. I'm not using any gesso or primer, I'm just going straight in with the paint pens. And I was really impressed because usually when you're painting onto black, if you're painting on with acrylic paint for example, then you have to use gesso, but these work quite well without any primer, so that was good. I did have to do a few layers, but that is normal when you're painting onto something black, whereas if you're painting onto white you don't need to do so many layers. So I think it was about 2 or 3 layers for each colour depending on the brightness of the colour. So the lighter colours needed more layers but the darker colours didn't. And I'm just blocking out the colours. I'm going from light to dark, so I'm using the lighter colours first and then adding the shadows. And Pokemon work really well when you're using acrylic paint pens because it relies on block shading rather than blended shading, so I thought that would be really good. And I wanted to do an Eevee on my sketchbook because that is my favourite Pokemon, and I thought it would make me want to use my sketchbook that little bit more. So I'm just building up the layers, and these flowed really well. They didn't get too clogged up. I did have to keep activating them on a piece of paper, but that is true really for most paint pens. They didn't get too clogged that it was an issue. Just had to activate them a few times, just test them out on some paper. But yeah, the flow was really good. It was easy coverage, and I was just a little bit impatient on not letting the layers dry. If you let your layers dry with these pens, then you won't have any issue if you want to layer them up again and again. But if you want to try these pens for yourself, I have a link in the description to the Artistro website with a discount code for you, and also the link to the Amazon UK where you can buy these pens, and the links will be affiliate links. So if you want to go and check those out, I'll leave all the information about these pens in the description below. So yeah, I just layered these up really, and I did the line art last because I thought that would be much easier, and I was right. So I'm just layering up this Eevee, and these pens were really great to work with. Like I say, there's a good range of colours, but there wasn't a dark brown, so I just used the dark red for the brown, which worked nicely on the black, and I just used the black for the outline. I think that would be the only thing I would say is that there is missing a dark brown, but you can make it work, you don't necessarily need it. So I'm just adding the highlights to Eevee's eyes now and painting the flowers. So I painted those white, drew those on white first. I did a couple of layers because when you're painting white onto black you do need to paint a couple of layers, and then I added some pinks and yellows on top. I didn't really use any metallics. I tried to, but then I just didn't for this piece. But I will be using the metallics again, probably in another video, because they were really bright and shiny. But I did use the white pen from the metallics because it was a finer point and it enabled me to do some finer details, especially on the flowers. So I'm just doing a green for the grass, and I added some green to the leaves, and you can see it is a bit patchy on the first layer, but like with the other colours, once you add a layer or maybe a third layer on top, it does the trick and it gives a really nice even coat. And I really like how vibrant these colours are, especially on the black. It was quite surprising. They look really vibrant and I was really impressed with how these worked. So I'm just adding some yellow to the flowers right now, adding some yellow to the middle of the flowers, just adding some dots. And I think this is quite a cute Eevee. I don't know if it will make me want to use my sketchbook or make me not want to use my sketchbook, because Eevee is my favourite Pokemon, and I don't know if it will make me want to use it or make me just want to not use it and make sure I keep my sketchbook clean because I don't want to make a mistake in it. Let me know in the comments below whether you like using sketchbooks, or if you're like me, you just sketch on random bits of paper. But I am going to try and fill this sketchbook up this year. So now I'm just outlining it with the black and just outlining all the bits of the fur, and I think this really does finish it off quite nicely. It's a really nice opaque black and a really nice dark colour. I know it's black, but sometimes with black pens and black paint that it's not always dark enough, if that makes sense, but this was quite a dark and opaque black. and I'm just going around the edges. Even though the edge of Eevee, when it meets the sketchbook, is black, I just thought it would give it a bit more definition. So that is what I'm doing. It neatens it up as well, and going around all the flowers with the black and just adding in the little details and going inside of the ears as well and the eyes. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Katie. I make art videos, I do challenges, speed paints, I do have some other Pokemon videos as well. And if you like this video, do have a look around my channel and hit the subscribe button if you liked it and want to see more. And if you like this video, you know, emotionally, please do leave it a like down below, as that really does help me out. So now I'm just adding a few dots with the white pen to the outside of Eevee. I did think about outlining it in the white, but I didn't in the end. I just added a few dots because Eevee is quite magical, that is why, and it just finishes it off quite nicely. So I'm using the finer point white that I got from the metallic set to do this, and I think it worked quite well. If you are using paint pens on surfaces, not when you're not using it on a painting, then it is good to seal it, because it could scratch off. That is just true with any type of paint. And when I finished it, I sealed it with Mod Podge, but you can use whatever you prefer to use. And I was really pleased with how this turned out. So here is my finished customized sketchbook. I think the colours are really vibrant. The paint is quite good quality, and for the price that these pens are, I think they are worth the money, and I'm definitely going to be using them again. But that is all for today's video. Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want to find out more about these pens. But that's all for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now!